I think the theme for me in this draft, or one of the themes, is that players went to good situations. I think a lot of players went to the right situation. All the players that I had, a lot of the players I had questions about, I feel like, hey, those questions might be answered in this particular landing spot. And it started with Anthony Richardson. I thought, listeners of the podcast know I was on the record saying I think he might be the guy that ends up sliding. But then it's if he fell past 4. If he fell past 4, because 4 has Shane Steichen as the head coach, he's coming from Philadelphia, that's the fit. If Steichen doesn't make the call, if the Colts don't take Richardson, how many other teams are willing to build that offense around him? I don't know if there were many, but I can't wait to see this now.
So I asked on Twitter a day before the draft. I listed the 3 options, and I said, which is the quarterback that's going to fall? Is it going to be Stroud? Is it going to be Richardson? Is it going to be Levis? And the split was basically a third each. Nobody had any idea, right? It was literally like 30%, 30%, 30%, and then 10% was none of them. They'll all go in the top 10. We both got it wrong. I thought Stroud would be the guy that slipped. You thought Richardson would be the guy that slipped. It turns out Levis is still sitting there at the start of the second round. He was the guy that slipped. And look, I think, you're right. There's a lot of these guys went to really, really good situations. I think you can argue that the Texans with PFF Bobby trying to run the Kyle Shanahan offense is as good a situation as Stroud could have found himself in. I think you can argue that the Shane Steichen game plan with what they've just done for Jalen Hurts is the best game plan that Richardson could have landed in. We were talking a lot about it would be a dream to see him in Atlanta in that offense. Indianapolis might actually be a better shot at it because they had more success. I mean, you look at the leaps that Jalen Hurts made year on year, it's the kind of leaps that Richardson needs to make, and he's probably starting from a higher standpoint in terms of what he can do as a runner.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing that match. I mean, I think because Shane Steichen has the experience building the run game around Jalen Hurts, I think Richardson's going to be a 1,000-yard runner. If he stays healthy, he's a 1,000-yard runner. There's only been a handful in the NFL, Justin Fields, Lamar Jackson, Michael Vick. Richardson can run for 1,000. He had 12.8 yards per attempt on scrambles in college. That's a record since we started this in 2014. So he's a scrambler, design run game, and we're buying time to figure it out as a passer.
Yeah.
I also think because of this, I don't know. I know we've been begging the Ravens to just get better receivers for Lamar Jackson and everything, but I feel like the Colts, who I've been wanting to improve their receiving core, maybe they don't have to.
Don't need to as much, yeah.
They don't need to as much, right? They're going to scheme it up. They're going to create open throws with misdirection, and maybe they go back to hammering the offensive line, right? You still have Quentin Nelson there.
Also, by the way, maybe leaning on those athletic freak show tight ends they have more than the wide receivers.
It's a great point. You get to throw to big body Jelani Woods, Mo Alley Cox, Michael Pittman as a big-bodied receiver, Alec Pierce. They've got some decent athletes there to go with Richardson. And it's also Richardson and Jonathan Taylor in the backfield. Every time I was trying to justify a Bijan Robinson pick, I would say, well, if he's in a backfield with a good running quarterback, now we get to see that with Jonathan Taylor, who, when healthy, is probably a top 3 running back or pure runner of the football. So I don't advise building your team through the run game, but the quarterback run game is an NFL cheat code. Colts can tap into that with Richardson, with Jonathan Taylor, and then that's your floor, right? Your high floor that we've talked about a lot, and then you're chasing Anthony Richardson, improving his throwing mechanics, improving his accuracy, getting better along those lines. So it's going to be fascinating with Indianapolis, but I think it was definitely the best fit for Richardson.
Yeah, I really do. I love that. I think he needed to go to a team that was willing to do what the Eagles did with Jalen Hurts, or a couple of these teams that have built an offense around a guy that's going to take some time as a passer. Like, if anyone thinks he's going to step in year one, be a 65% passing quarterback and a guy that's, hitting the right guy every time, not making mistakes, they're kidding themselves. He won't be. He's not ready at that. He won't be by week 1, no matter how much work he's putting in with the individual quarterback coach. It's going to take some time. But they've just done that. They understand how long it's going to take, and they also understand how good you can be in the meantime. It doesn't mean you're going to stink for 2 years. The Eagles had a top 10 offense by EPA per play the year before Jalen Hurts was really good. So you can get to a reasonably high level, making do while you get this guy learning on the job.
Let me go off the rails really quick. But last year at this time, Tariq Woolen, the freakiest workout we've ever seen.
Yes.
At cornerback. And we kind of said the same thing. Hey, it'll take him a couple of years, but the upside's incredible. Now, in completely different position at quarterback. But Cam Newton kind of did a little of that. Like, Cam Newton was supposed to take a little bit of time as a passer. He was coming out of a heavy zone read type of thing.
And then started with like the most consecutive 400-yard games.
And he just started chucking it around. All I'm saying is there could be a world where Anthony Richardson just does it, right? Because if he was at Florida this year and he came chucking it around and winning the Heisman and all that stuff, that wouldn't be a surprise. Just saying there's a world where that could happen. But overall, my take is it should take him a couple years as well, right? The way you're saying. But
I don't. I think it's important to say that I don't think that means that the offense and he will be terrible right away.
Right.
Like, they can make it work for a while while you learn. Like, it's the thing that's going to take time is him as a passer, not him overall. Like, he might actually be okay right away because of all the things they can do around him.